Good night, everyone. Good night. Good night. Welcome to another weekly Black History Live with me, Posha Malcolm. It is January the 13th, 2026, and tonight we will be talking about the founder of the Chicago Defender. How has the week been for you so far? Let me know in the chat. How has your week been? How was today? All right. So tonight, as I said before, we are talking about this man who founded the Chicago Defender, the life and legacy of Robert S. Abbott. So he was actually, how would I say it? His words that he wrote moved trains, his newspaper moved people, and his vision reshaped America itself. What role did media play in the Great Migration? And the quote for tonight is, I had to make my own living and my own opportunity, but I made it. Don't sit down and wait for the opportunity to come. Get up and make them. And that was Madam C.J. Walker's quote. Imagine founding one of the most powerful newspapers in the United States of America's history with just 25 cents. Not in freedom, not in fairness, not in a time when Black voices were silenced, lynched, not in fairness, but in a time when Black voices were silenced, lynched, and erased. That man, Robert Abbott, his life reminds us that media is powerful, truth is revolutionary, and one voice, when printed, can move millions. Yes, millions. How was his early life? Robert S. Abbott was born in 1870 in Frederica, Georgia, just 5 years after slavery ended. His parents were formerly enslaved and opportunity was scarce. His father died and so his mother remarried. She married a minister and an educator who instilled in Abbott a strong belief in education, discipline, and faith. Abbott studied printing at Hampton Institute, a historical Black institution that trained young Black men in trades and leadership. Later, he earned a law degree from Kent College of Law in Chicago. If any one of you know Kent College or have heard about it, you can let me know. Also, Hampton Institution. These were Black institutions. But here's the turning point. Despite his education, Abbott could not find any work being a lawyer. Why? Because of racism. Courtrooms were closed to him, but printing presses were not. Instead of surrendering, he pivoted. Remember, he had gone to Hampton Institute where he learned printing. How did he find the Chicago Defender? In 1905, with just 25 cents, a borrowed kitchen table, and his printing skills, Abbott launched the Chicago Defender. At first, it was a small weekly newspaper, like many things, persons do small businesses, you know, Start out small, but Abbott understood something powerful. If the mainstream media will not tell our story, we will tell it ourselves. And so, the defender exposed lynching and racial terror, challenged segregation and Jim Crow laws, promoted Black pride, education, and entrepreneurship, and used bold headlines and emotional storytelling to awaken readers. The paper grew. It grew so influential that it became the largest Black newspaper in the nation. Yes, you heard me right, in the nation, despite being banned in many southern states. Railroad porters secretly distributed the paper across the South, risking their lives so Black families could read it. And I must interject here that I was researching this young lady, and I'm going to tell you about her another time when we do our stories. And her master at the time saw her reading a Latin book, and she wasn't punished, but she lost the most important person in her life because of that. And it is said that uh, at that time, that an educated Black person is a dangerous person. So imagine having the knowledge and being able to produce this Defender newspaper that has been educating the large Black population in the United States. Imagine what you think would come out of that. So the porters, they would distribute it and families would get it. Catalyst of the Great Migration. Robert Abbott didn't just report history, he sparked it. Through the Chicago Defender, Abbott encouraged African Americans to leave the Jim Crow South and seek opportunity in northern cities like Chicago, Detroit, and New York. And we know there's a large population in these areas, even up until now. He published he published train schedules, job listings. Remember before he couldn't get any job? Now in his paper, he was able to published job listings, housing opportunities, letters from Black families already living in the North. This movement became known as the Great Migration, during which over 6 million Black Americans relocated between 1916 and 1970. Abbott believed migration was not escape, it was resistance. So he said, you run away, you live to fight another day. As a result, Black political power grew in northern cities. Black culture flourished, the music, the journalism, the activism. America's demographics were permanently reshaped just by him having this newspaper, The Defender. What did he leave behind? Robert S. Abbott became a media mogul, one of America's first self-made Black millionaires, a global voice for Black dignity and justice. He died in the year 1940. His nephew took over the Chicago Defender, continuing his powerful legacy. Abbott proved that the pen can be more powerful than laws, courts, or guns. Robert S. Abbott teaches us this: when doors close, build your own platform. When your voice is silenced, print it louder. And when truth is dangerous, publish it anyway. This ties into, well, let me leave that for Saturday night. So please join me for Saturday night live. Okay? Now, our discussion questions. 1. Why was the Chicago Defender so dangerous to the Jim Crow system? Why was the Chicago Defender so dangerous to the Jim Crow system? Well, several things. It exposed racism, racial violence. It encouraged migration, persons leaving the South to the North. It challenged white supremacy and empowered Black people with information and hope. They could find jobs, they could find housing, they could share, they could inform, and this wasn't just a few persons in a little community. It was a nationwide thing that took place, that it reshaped America. 2, how did Abbott failure as a lawyer led to his success? If you remember, he could not find any job after leaving college as a lawyer. So what he did, using his previous skill learned, he turned it around. He looked towards journalism, where he could reach millions instead of one courtroom. So look at our situation. See where, if there's a block, you may be looking for a job and you can't find one. Create one. So you look how you can utilize what you have and turn your situation around. 3, what role did media play in the Great Migration? It provided information, hope, encouragement, also a vision, turning fear into faith and movement into action. Remember earlier, the stepfather that he grew up with taught him about faith and gave him an education. So utilize what you have. And that's what happened with media and the role it played in the Great Migration. It informed, it encouraged, it brought hope, it brought vision, and it removed fear and replaced it with faith and movement that changed a nation. Why is Robert S. Abbott still relevant today? He shows the power of independent Black media, strong storytelling, and using platforms to fight injustice, especially relevant in today's digital age. So there's a lot that we may face, even coping with the digital world. How can we use it and maximize it? Look at what you have. You may have to learn, like he did, a skill. He learned printing. What can you do? Is there, how can you maximize the digital age? By learning about it, by becoming skilled in it. Remove fear and replace it with faith and action. Number 5 and last, what lesson can content creators and journalists learn from a bot? And I would say start where you are. Use what you have and speak boldly. We have been doing a 10-week of prayer in my community, my faith-based community. And this ties perfectly into that. He moved boldly. Based on what was going on at the time, he did not fear, but he replaced that fear, that uncertainty with faith and hope. And he put those into action with the skills that he had. And it became, the Chicago Defender became a force to be reckoned with. One platform used with purpose can change history. And that's what I'm doing tonight. I am changing history because many of us, and it doesn't matter which nation you're from, it doesn't matter you're brought up, say, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. We are all one and we learn from all of these things. Black history teaches so much. And so tonight I bring to you this gentleman who, when he couldn't find a job, he created one, telling us that we can take charge of our lives and we can turn it around when it seems bleak. By faith, by trust in God, we can turn our lives around. And for young people, don't just get an education that is theory that you will have to, get put into practice, like being a lawyer. Also get a skill. Also get a skill that you have to use with your hands. You may never know how both of them can create something that is impactful, that can change the world. So there's a balance, brain and body. All right, so that's my encouragement tonight as we spoke about this giant, Robert S. Abbott. He actually got over 28,000 views on my Black History Live shorts, my Black History shorts. So you can check it out. You can check out that shorts and also the other videos. There are some really powerful Black figures that have changed the way that we live. And I hope that you'll be inspired and encouraged by them. So tonight, I just want to say good night and have a wonderful week, remainder of the week. And I will see you next week with Weekly Black History Live, and on Saturday night with Saturday Night Live with yours truly, Posha Malcolm. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you in the next live. Bye-bye. Take care.